We shall be interviewing H. Kanhaiyalal of Manipur. It's the 26th of November, 1985. When were you born?
17 January 1941.
What was your first experience of theatre? What was the first theatre that you saw? Something that created an interest in theatre you found interesting enough?
It's going on.
Since my childhood, some would have theatre halls which runs regular theatre programs, drama programs.
In
Manipur.
Imphal.
Yes.
How many are there halls now?
Now these 3 standing halls in Imphal.
How long have they been there?
They have been since 1930s. So in the late 40s and early 50s, I had the opportunity to see the plays because my father was very much interested in going to theatre regularly. Then I was with him and I had the chance to know the proscenium theatres which was practiced in Imphal by that time. It was almost influenced by the Bengali theatre. Then, on the other side, I was exposed to all folk theatres. There was one particular folk theatre, which is called Moirang Parva. You know Moirang? The Moirang legendary. The play consists and weave out of the Moirang legends. Then that was very much popular by that time. And we moved from one place to another place, running after them to see the performances. And in a day we had to see 3 times, 4 times. Afternoon till late night. So
You saw the same play or you saw different parts of the same play in the different performances?
Same play.
Same play.
Same play. Still we were interested. We wanted to see more performances.
What kind of theatre was this Moirang Parva? We don't have any idea, so if you could
Yes.
describe it.
It is right. It is, in fact, it is an operatic theatre. Dance and song dominated performance. It is purely narrative. But we don't have separate sutradhar or narrators. The characters themselves narrate the events and again involve into the character and again out of the character. In this way. So I use some, you had seen one play in Imphal recently. In that play I
Give
used
the name of the play also.
with the Children of God.
Children of God.
And in that play I used all the actors changing from one role to another role many times. But it was not boring. Because it was inspired by this.
Moirang Parva.
And these 2 type of theatres, one proscenium, other open theatre. So in this milieu I have been brought up. And since my school days, I used to, in my local friends, boys are there with me. I happened to be the leader and I suggested to imitate the folk theatre performances among ourselves. And I distributed the parts to be played by themselves. Even the female parts in our jatra is no well that the female parts are played by the male. So,
how old were you then when you did this?
oh yes,
first time?
about 10 years old, I think, 10 years old. And from house to house we moved. In the evening we get the performances. And some old women who are not working hard, just resting on the, they were the audience. And other children and the old women, they were the audiences, our audiences. And then in the school period, school functions, on the occasion of the school functions, we have organized or plays performed. Then in 59, I met the local veteran playwright and director, G.C. Tonga. He did his plays like Ibsen's same model, satire, social satire, political, etc. Then I taught how to write a play properly from him, how to direct a play. He hadn't much idea of direction and production. Only he depended upon his literary pieces. Only he wanted to speak out what he writes in the script. That's all. Then I was with him for 2 years. Then I established an independent young college student group, Students Artists Association, in 1961. And we produced one play which was written by me, directed by me. By that time I met Savitri. We engaged Savitri as an actress for our production.
What was her background?
Her background is so rich, richer than I am.
She's a fantastic actress.
Her father is still a bandmaster, clarinet player. Her father knew the Western, this clarinet system, easily or Natya Sankirtana songs. It's wonderful. And every band player now imitated from him, learned from him.
His name?
His name is Amubi. And then her auntie one, she was a very good actress, perhaps very versatile, like Savitri. So she was the leader in the social, say, it is not actually a movement, but she volunteered to be an actress in theatre. When the society was so orthodox, no women was allowed to perform in theatre. But women were allowed in our ritual, religious, any other social functions, except this theatre. They were allowed for dance, music related to religion and other social functions. Then she volunteered. Then society looked down there, naturally. Then she fought, and she won. And she had her following. All the female, most of the major female actresses of Manipur, post-war, pre-war, this period, were taught by her. Then
She acted in the professional theatre?
Yes, she acted in professional theatre and she ran her own company also in her lab.
There was a professional theatre in Manipur at that
No,
time.
he has mentioned that there were the 3 companies and the 3 halls with the professional repertory companies. Was she the first woman to act?
She was perhaps the first and leading actress in Manipur. And she got a State Academy Award also very recently.
Her name?
Now, Gauramani Devi. And she brought up Savitri. Savitri was not brought up in her own family. She took away her from her family and kept her with her. Then she taught elements she accumulated from her own long experiences to Savitri and trusted everything to Savitri. And Savitri played in an opera Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in her childhood. She was so identified with Chaitanya. Every audience, old man, who was so bhakti oriented, came to her and touched her feet and worshiped. So some 500 shows were put up this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Achha.
during her childhood. And
She acted as Chaitanya.
Chaitanya. So Chaitanya is almost played by small children. And by the time she was about 9 or 10 years old. And at her 16, when she was 16 years old in 1961, I met her. Is that a proud background? Then I struggled in my family whether I shall take up theatre or give up, because my family didn't like, because theatre doesn't give us much money. How shall we live is a problem for us. So, in spite of it, I struggled up to 1969. Psychologically, I was so upset in 1968 when I was in NSD. That was the main problem for me, leaving very soon without completion of the course, because I have to go there. And I separated from the family as soon as I went back to home, leaving the school. Then I separated from the family. Then I got independent. Then since 1969 I founded this Karate professor in Manipur.
Kalakshetra.
Yes.
What was your how did you go to NSD, and what was your experience at NSD? Would you try to even evaluate it now when you look back upon it? Yes. How did you go there? Why?
Because there was, by the time I was Vinodini and some other sympathizers wanted to send one boy to NSD. Right? And Dr. Suresh Samsky was familiar with Manipur through Vinodini and Venkatras. And Vinodini asked me, why don't you go to NSD? You would be selected, shall be selected. I have discussed all these things with Dr. Suresh Samsky. Then I went and appeared in the interview. I was selected. And I was for some time there, even without completion of 1 year. Yes, I was inspired very much by Alka's professional sense of responsibility. That's much I could get benefit from NSD, which guided me very much, not aesthetically. But since my sensibility is so native, local, still I couldn't adapt to the...
You couldn't identify with that whole
with the whole
system.
So I came back and I wrote some plays, unsuccessful plays, trying to imitate some absurd plays.
In 69.
In 69. And I felt, I know. But my the production style was very much appreciated. With embarrassed breathing, all these things were. Then I came to my own social background, cultural background. I looked back and I found very interesting things which I wanted to express by that time. Where I began to think in terms of society, on suffering, on environment, all these things. I began to think of these things.
So you were being drawn to another kind of themes.
Another kind of theme, which is our own. Because I was confused. How shall I express my own feelings in terms of an absurd theatre? Because this sensibility I realized by that time, after my... because their sensibility is quite different, and ours is different. And I began to study a little, because Western expression is all the time psychological, and our is so sentimental and emotional in our approach and by our temperament. So this theatre, Western European theatre, they give emphasis on this psychology, whereas we do on emotion. These two different characteristics I could get. And being, as I was in a some time in NSD, Oedipus complex was very much with these students like it, that these Greek tragedies and tragic elements. So I was also inspired to draw some tragic elements from the Greek tragedy. And I used our own sentimentalism elements, not at this super level, upper level. Then I intermingled. And a simple story I retold again on the stage. That was Tamnalai, Haunting Spirit. That was shown here along with Kanhaiyalal. Badalda still felt that he prefers Tamnalai to the rest of
Tamnalai.
Tamnalai. Haunting Spirit. The choreography Badalda declared in Nepal when after seeing the play, the best choreography which I had seen is Kanhaiyalal. The choreography, because I exposed one character, innocent, helpless character. They feel all things. You feel, here we feel. Because I put in the character in the name of the master, teacher, teaching those who are in teaching profession. So noble, they're gentle, they're humanism. But they can't help out this time. They have to remain silent. All the time they have to remain. These things portray. So after Tamnalai, I met Badalda in
This was 71.
In 72. This play produced in 71. And 72, Badalda came to Manipur to do a workshop. No, for a special festival of Badalda's plays. And along with some local plays. And my play was selected. By the time you could see the play, then a turning point in shaping my philosophical kind of works. And in 73, March, I was here. for 1 month, and I learned these psychophysical exercises from him. And the next month, we invited him to Nepal. He conducted the workshop. He produced the Spartacus, and I helped him because I was the only person
who knew his method.
Then Kavikeva was the theme of Kavikeva was conceived before earlier. Then now the production style, about the production style, I was influenced by these mode of productions. But I never sacrificed because I was very much definite about myself. Because I must not sacrifice my individuality. Maybe the artist may be influenced by any greater artist or greater forces influences us all the time. But we have to assimilate it. We have to allow getting in myself and express again as my own. So I didn't sacrifice my individuality.
आप चाय पीते थे.
And the next time after that I produced Reverend's poem in Pulse 73. And in Pulse 73 was essays by the local critics. And it's one of the most educative, like Pavel. Pavel also educates something. Like who is the exploiter? Who is the exploited? Who are we? These lines. But I poetically devised because I know that my feeling all the time is poetic rather than theatrical. So I prefer this, why I prefer the physical. I don't know whether my theatre is physical or not, I can't say. But what I want is to create a physical point is my preference rather than theatre.
But now in the case of Abuike River, what I felt was that there was a very clearly conceived poetic theme independent of the theatre, which you had there. It was a remarkable poetic theme, a piece of poetry. And the theatre was an extension of it, an elaboration on it. That is one way, that is one method of doing it. Has this, or when you say I haven't seen it, but I know a little about it, about Sribiran's poem. So you had a poem, and he was reacting to that, building upon that, constructing upon that, but that was the ground base, the ground movement. Now, has it always been like that, or there are other people, for example, the way Robi sometimes works, he doesn't have a clear piece of poetry in his mind as such, starts working, and the poetry emerges entirely from the physical work. So you can reach physical poetry both ways, either from poetry to the physicality or from physicality to poetry. Now, with Imphal 73 and Kabuike Yoga, it has been with you from poetry to physicality. But is that your method every time, or has there been occasions where you've just started working physically and made a poetry out of that?
That's all the time.
Am I clear?
Because it has, the children of God is also from physicality to poetry.
So it has worked both ways with you. For some, from the poetry to the physicality, from some to the physicality to poetry.
Then Nepal 73, then next.
This was in 73 itself.
74, it was produced in 74. The poem was written in 73. And I'll tell you some important events. In 75, I had an opportunity to go to the remote villages with the help of the Manipuri Academy. And I wanted to explore the tribal feelings because Meitei, we were a tribe. After the conversion to Hinduism, we were no longer tribe. But we have the tribal spirit. What is tribal? Tribal means hostile. I mean, some outsiders, some hostile. But what I mean tribal is a purity of expression, without any blockage, without any reservation. All the time they used to speak very naturally. There is difference I could find in their speech, music. Whereas with urbanized people, our speech doesn't bear any stamp of music because logic is our
strength.
Yeah. So these their real life. I was very much interested by that time in the real life rather than the performances or other
or even their arts. You're more interested in their lifestyle, and their way of living.
Live, how they work, how they
work, live,
sleep, die. All these things are important for me and because I could see the human things in them. After that, this is quite connected with their performances because it is culturally involved.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Part of the culture.
Part of the culture. So private in a very environmental production style, I produced in 1975 private with all paraphernalia in an arena, sort of arena. I used to big drums and ladder was one platform, round platform. I would get another high level. And like circus, I hang one rope from one corner to another corner. And going, the birds going along the road. But later on, this I couldn't bring this production very easily, very comfortably, very well, I want to say. So why I could not avoid all these paraphernalia? Why didn't I attempt purely on the expression of our body, like my previous productions? With this idea, I had thrown out all the external paraphernalia and again recreated the thing. And that was also again after the present parrot is the third recreation.
Third version.
Third. After this I don't like to go further. My process is such. It is really what it took some 3 years to make the final set. As soon as it is finally produced, then it is
Finished.
finished. because I'm very much interested. I don't know why. First, I don't like to give a definite statement. I would like to say something and build up, taking time. In this way, I did my work.
When was this new version, this third version of Vivith first staged? What year? When was the final version of Vivith staged for the first time? The final version.
Final version?
The first time you did in 75.
75.
Which you did with all the paraphernalia
yes.
and the spectrum.
Second version, 77 second version. And in 77, then 82.
82 till you did the third version.
That 82 we put here.
Which we saw here.
This is the last.
Which you repeated at Bhubaneswar also, the same. At this point I'd like to ask you something. Now, we've seen Ratan's work and we saw Rajendra's work the day before. And some of us have this feeling from Manipuri theatre that there is such scope for spectacle, visual spectacle, fantastic spectacle for its own sake. Spectacle with your spears, your shields, your spears, your headgears, everything. And the drums, the musical instruments, the sounds. Use the hungchalam, which is fabulous, and the range. There is always the temptation to go into that. And you have also the advantage that most of your actors would have, at some level or another, some training, some exposure, some closeness to all these elements. And there is a natural tendency inherent in contemporary Manipuri theatre to go for this, which we haven't ever seen in the 3 plays of yours that I have seen. You choose a very bare, ascetic, you go straight for the bottle language, without these extravagant frills and spectacular things. Is it a deliberate choice?
Yes, this is my deliberate choice. Because what I wanted to express, I had a feeling. I wanted to express the feeling. If I don't take the help of those elements, I can straight directly express to you what is the necessity or investing time and money in preparation for all these things. If it contributes in my communication, then it's all right. If it doesn't contribute, what is the purpose? So, in terms of economy, I used to deliberately avoid all this.
Is it only for the economy or you have some certain purpose?
My purpose is that because without the help of them, the body can speak. The body can speak. Suppose when a mother and a child are here in a room or in a space, is there any paraphernalia we need to get a sense of their feelings between a mother and a child? Only the intimacy of the body, their sensuous relationship between a mother and a child. It doesn't need anything more than that relationship. So like that, when I want to express something, and I used to seek the form, suitable form, how to speak, how to express. How to express is the formula or is the theory of any artist. Why means for the feeling I have. How is the way, manner of representation? So, in the ritual, we use this paraphernalia. So let us come to back to the ritual. It has certain religious and social significance of all the properties they use. Why unnecessarily, if it doesn't serve any purpose of the theatre, why shall I take them? For the sake of the spectacle, how shall I? Because I try to escape from the the domination by the spectacle.
That is spectacle.
No, spectacle. Because some I found some directors give emphasis on the spectacle. Spectacle is to please or external. And during that spectacle, the other theaters, so-called theater drama, needed that spectacle for their own purpose. And for me, these things are not much helpful to me.
Would you even say, you seem to be suggesting that ritual has its own language. There is a certain language through which ritual expresses itself. And that is the language of spectacle. But theatre has its own language. And these two languages are not the same. So you would be interested in evolving and working on the language of the theatre rather than borrow something from ritual which belongs there. Fine, it's fine there. But bringing it in just to create some kind of an aura or show out of it, you wouldn't like to do it. So that is the impression that I get from your theatre, that you try to evolve a language of the theatre independently from within the theatre, rather than take things from outside.
I will cite you an example. In Kavi Keveva, Savitri,
I remember, very strong.
Or Christmas Maidi, you know, the Maidi ritual, in podcasting,
the trance,
predicting body. But I didn't borrow that. I did use. Why the Maidi used to when she used
She's in a
did
trance.
it, and why she, because she was in trance. Trance is connected to the theatre. So nobody says that it is a Maidi. Because our local audience knows more than you know. They are familiar with the Maidi. It seems that the expression absorbs all these things. So it becomes a genuine theatrical expression to the audience. Here in Rajan's play might be used, and here last days also, this is just like, evidently just like that might be his performance. Now why they just copied the ritual
and dragged out of the context of the ritual into another context where it doesn't work.
So maybe precisely we can say that you like to go through the ritual and like to explore it and trying to create a new theatrical ritual for you.
Not only the ritual, I'm giving an example. Ritual is an aspect. We have another aspect, martial art, for example, other folk dances. And martial art, in addition to my foundation project, I had experienced how to give the training to an actor. The actor trainings is every director this time says just like a patient, I don't know, the actor's training method, this, that. But I couldn't find anything new and anything vital for the future theatre, for the future actors, in the context of our tradition. So martial art, we borrowed that, the real martial art, Manipuri Tantra. We borrowed, copied. And so well designed. And a magic performance. That's all. But here, in martial arts, an actor needs his body to be reflexive, quick reflexive. This is provided by the martial art. Because my reaction of the sense, duck, 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 we could get benefit this way. Elaborating our body and or what to facilitate this type of squeezing. Because in martial art, in the confrontation with the enemy or animal, a man needs two techniques. Either to hide from the sight of the enemy, other to attack. So his body needs to be squeezed, to be elaborated. We need these two techniques to employ for the theatre, for the actor. Sensitivity, And a martial artist, real martial fighter, knows it well. My enemy is coming, without looking back, due to the sensitivity. How he develops his own senses to know that his enemy is following him. So, we need our bodies, our senses work in the proper way. Where is the proper way? How shall we find out? It was in our past.
They had improvised a whole scheme, method, approach for that. So it's almost a science for the body. So which you take.
Do you like to say it as a spontaneous creative expression of the body?
Spontaneity is how shall I express spontaneously without working my senses? These senses will lead my spontaneous expression, I feel so.
Yeah, I'm telling that. After working with the martial art and other things, what we can learn? The body can learn.
Then all the techniques are observed with me. Then I know how to walk. Martial art provides us how to walk, how to run,
How to respond.
how to respond. So we need how to walk. In a realistic theatre also, an actor learns how to walk because we don't know how to stand. We know we stand, we sit, we sleep, we work, we run. But in terms of theatre, we have to recreate our body in order to suit the theatre. It's a recreation of our body.
So when you go through the experience of the martial arts, when you learn martial arts, when you teach your actors martial arts, it's more to prepare the body rather than to use it as a part or element of your theatre.
Yeah.
Not a part of the
Not part.
performance of the theatre. Not a part of the performance,
Not
but
a part of it.
part of the making of the theatre.
In Pere, the working of the birds, it was improvised one. Actually, I didn't say to the actors, we should use the martial art. I didn't say. But I wanted to see that these things are absorbed with them. If it is absorbed, then they will create themselves. They will find out their own way. Then they would how to fly, how to improvise flying of the bird. Then they
How to run away.
How to run away.
There's a lot of running away. play with also.
And these things came out from all these exercises.
What other plays have you done since I bet the Children of the God?
It was originally produced in 1978. It was based on an essay written by a Manipuri headmaster who was there in Mao village. He is a poet. He was Sahitya Academy Award also conferred to him. An outstanding Manipuri Samaran. He wrote an essay about the innocence, simplicity of the tribal people inhabited in the Mao area, north district of Manipur. And I was very much inspired because I wanted to project entirely our northeastern states.
Continued on side B.
And by that time I came across a book, even I forgot, this is a cultural anthropology. It is written by a lady, American scholar. And small local. He gave me the book by science. And then I had gone through the life of the Indians in the America, Dakota especially. And there is some similarities I found between them and our life here. And I was very much inspired by the essay and by the book. And then I went to the Mao village. I had a friend who is now in comparing their Mao programs. He guided me. He gave all his help, possible helps. And I mixed with them for some time. And then I recorded some music and some dance films and brought to the valley among our actors. And I asked them to imitate just without inquiring, without any hesitation. Try to imitate. Then they imitated. Then I invited the tribal artists. Then I tried to mix among themselves so that these barriers are broken down. Then they could get the real essence, spirit of the song, dance, after the acquaintance with themselves. Then I improvised a little, the dances, the musics, because I have to do it deliberately, because I'm not copying just the same things. So musicalities. These musicalities and movement project the simplicity, innocence of their lives. And I could project the tribal civilization. Because tribal civilization is another world. Their value, now we are seeking to obtain certain values which they had in their own civilization. And this time, since the modern economy creeps in, they have been exploited. So there is, on the other side, government is trying to develop the travel. Christian missionaries are there to lead their life to another world. So many things are there. So this is the prime time. Because since they are confused and they are wrong, then these tribals, after some time, they will meet danger. They will again want to identify themselves with their ethnic culture. Someday they would like it. Because in India, other regions, bigger national groups now are committed to identify themselves with the own. Not only in India, even in
All over the world.
all over the world.
Same things happen.
Yes. So now they don't care. They don't take any care of professional training. They took care of the IAS officers because they had the. So I feel some sympathetic leaning. I have some sympathetic leaning on the tribals. But I love their and that was the about the display. And another experience, then I shifted my attention to the south, another tribal group. They belong to the Kuki-Sin group from Burma. They migrated from Burma
Into
Manipur. And these two Naga tribe and this Kuki-Sin tribe, their nations are quite different. Quite different. And Kuki-Sin tribes are seemingly, seems to be cunning, seems to be insincere. Whereas Nagas are
trusting,
trusting,
innocent.
So I had an introduction with them, with the students of this Kuki-Sin group. And we produced a play based on their folk tale. Because Maitis are doing theatre, they have been to audience, they have invited Manipuri Jatras, everything for their occasions. But they never perform. I would like to draw themselves to the performing area, so that Maiti also can be an audience for them.
What was the name of this play? Was this the play that you did at the Sri Ram Center Festival?
No,
this year?
no.
That's another. What's the name of this play?
This place, Thangho Leander. Thangho is the name, Leander, two brothers who founded their tribe.
Thangho Liando.
Thangho Leander. They did successfully.
When did you do this place?
It was in 1981. 81 March. Production done in 81 March.
How many plays the directors did now?
একটু জোরে না বললে কি করে মেশিনটা ধরবে বাবা?
About 35 plays.
35 plays you have done?
But the Kalak had produced about 20 plays.
Of these.
Other plays I did with other groups in the rural, both in rural and urban areas. And again I went to a village which was they came out of a big village in protest because there is exploitation among themselves. Those who resist the exploitation of then they came out of the village and they settled down in a certain place and then have been residing here since last 30 years. And I was with them. And they were interested to do theatre. And I asked them to narrate one very interesting tale or story, anything they want to shoes for the production. Then one of the villagers narrated a story about a cowherd, their life, present cowherd, the past cowherd. And this exploitation among themselves, we used to show exploitation by the bigger forces visually, but we neglected exploitation among ourselves. So that was also a very different experience for me to work with different peoples who have different ethnic and cultural, social identities.
What was the play you did at the Sri Ram Center Festival this year?
Mrityu Shodh. This is a very funny play, it began a controversy in Delhi. In Impal also, like critics like Nilakanta, Damodar, Keshav Kothari, they didn't like it because they criticized the impact which you get to us in your previous productions was greater than it is. You break down all your valuable, is important. So because I deliberately had broken all the formalities, because I would like to ask a question myself this time. The interaction between the folk and the contemporary theatre. Who does the contemporary theatre? Contemporary theatre is done by us. Folk theatre remains in the village. So, if for this, I have to go to the village and pick up some deer, and I brought them to the city. So then, it becomes a commodity. And this is no longer folk. How far can we preserve? How far can we revive? We need a revival, preservation to make it much more living. So there is no connection in this. Only economically this connection we have. For a culturally vital expression, if I want to grow up the folk theatre to suit the modern sensibility, I have to go back to the root and again come up through the plant. Otherwise, with a ladder I can go up. Pick up the flower, the fruit, come down very easily. If I
Flower
do,
won't live.
there is no experience of
The roots of the connections.
Right.
So, just Mrityu Shodh for this production, I select once I attempted to do Madhakaris. But Madhakaris needs words, isn't it? There is no possibility at all, I found. No possibility, theatrical possibility for me to express Madhakaris in my own way. Then I shifted my attention to other aspects. Now I am doing a contemporary theatre which is entirely based on folk theatre. And regarding the script, in the younger generation this time, in the oral tradition we have still now, they created their own story. Then from mouth to mouth, This story, many stories are running from locality to locality throughout the. So I selected two stories. One is, there is one director, he has a company. And there is one actor who played the role of Ravan, very famous, very popular. Then Ravan is, physically he is so Ravan. Ravan bears the stamp of his face of a Ravan demon. In his heart, he is so humble, he is so simple. He can't ask his director to pay him to clear his debts of only ₹300. His wife insisted him to ask the director. He didn't ask. Once he goes, he tried to ask. Director stopped him. This is not time. This is time of our play. You can ask after the show. In this way, then he was frustrated and he needed 300 rupees tomorrow morning. Then he shall not be able to go back to his home without the money. Then he did a trick. In the performance of the Ramayana, Ravan was to kill by Ram. He fought Ram. Then at the time of dying, he was not dead. Still undying, he remained on the stage. The director was confused. And he called out Hanuman and gave a 300 knock along with an arrow. And Hanuman gave to Ram. Ram shot the arrow for 300 rupees to Ravan. Then Ravan happily then he rushed to his home. He expressed his momentary triumph. They were pleased. His wife was then began to sing, dreaming. Tomorrow we have lottery, some small lotteries we manage in our localities, subscribing some 50 rupees, 100 rupees per month. And this, tomorrow lottery we shall have our own luck, then we shall buy my own cloth, these things, dream. Then another story, there is one master thief. And he had one disciple. They have to do their work in the night, in a house, stealing something. First, the master thief went into the house, searched, found out the thing which he wanted, and came out successfully. Then asked his disciple to go himself alone, take those things. Then he placed order. The disciple went into the house. While stealing, master, the owner of the house asked, who is he? There was a sound came out. As soon as the sound came out, the owner asked, who is he? Then he gave his answers in such a way that no words was answered. He answered just a cat does, Meow. Then the owner thinks that it is our cat. He is scared. Because he could use his own intelligence by that time. Because he is a master, he is a professional, expert. And his disciple fell in this. The owner asked, who is it? Oh, I am the cat a while ago. Then he was arrested. So in that play, what I wanted to express, these are the moment that these common people are pleased with their momentary triumphs. In Manipuri, I'm drinking. After drinking, then I will challenge everybody. When I was not drinking, then by that time, my superior, say for example in the office, my superior, I cannot say anything against my superior. I have to keep silent if I am not satisfied with him. But after drinking, he will challenge. As soon as the intoxication is over, then he will submit again to him. How this came out? This is the feeling, expression of his separation, comes out of his separation. They cannot confirm his superior or anybody intellectually. Colonial attitude still we have. So I wanted to create a consciousness of removing the colonial attitude we have. So that's the message of the play. And these two different stories I interlinked up. In the linking, they are not satisfied. They wanted to make it as per the accepted theatrical practices. Following the accepted theatrical practices we had. But instead, I neglected all these formalities, theories, because it is just a form. If I make it very sophisticated, it is no longer folk. There shall be no longer folk media. If we take it all these things for our own sophistication. This is my own vision.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen any of his production except the filming of Pebet, which I don't think was, yes, it didn't convey anything. I was perplexed. So, but while watching you talking, I was just wondering if I would have known a little of photography. I have a camera, but I don't know photography. I would have just clicked it. Film to nahi, camera ache. So yes, we have to go to, no, that we have to. In a very near future, we have to pay visit to Manipur. And thank you, Kanhaiyalal, very much. It has been a pleasure knowing you and listening to you. Thanks.